As noted by our comment section, specifically the commenter named Thon Maker, who comments all the
So
time.
nice that he's got time to, and amongst finding out his own age.
Right, we keep asking him. He keeps responding, which is great. He's very active in our comment section. So thank you, Thon Maker, the commenter Thon Maker, and I guess thank you, Thon Maker, the player Thon Maker,
For always keeping us guessing.
for keeping us guessing. Giannis Antetokounmpo deserves a clip, and he's probably deserved a clip for 2 or 3 weeks.
Aye.
Of course, my eyes been on Giannis Antetokounmpo. My eyes on every NBA player because I have no life outside of watching basketball. I don't.
I noticed.
Right. Texting Francis. Lou Williams has 36 points too.
I know.
I'm watching
but
Klay Thompson.
Exactly. That's when you know that it gets a little out of hand. Is when the world is watching Klay Thompson and we're texting and you're like, but did you see what?
I have
Lou
3
Williams was
TVs
doing? I'm like,
going.
Jason,
3 TVs. I have
what are
one
you
TV.
doing? Your phone's
and then a
out,
shitty
computer's
monitor,
out.
and then ESPN Gamecast. But in terms of Giannis, there's a couple of things that stand out this season. For one, we knew he was going to be moving to point guard, which made him Point Tentacumpo, which is my favorite name ever because then you can just combine the two and not have to worry so much about the spelling. It's very straightforward. POINTETOUNKNNPUOTOPQUNLP.
RESPECT.
Right? Sounds exactly as it's spelled.
That's what
I
you
don't
need
know
to
why
be.
people have a problem with it. First, we'll go to Reddit because I did come across this one on the Reddit NBA thread. My favorite thing. I'll get to a fun comment that people always leave to in the comment section. So this comes from Reddit user ER Got Poisoning. A few more statistics to back up the idea that Giannis is right now playing as one of the top 5-6 most impactful
Nice use
players
of word.
in the league. Bullet point number, there's a lot of bullet points, but first in the NBA in field goals made within 3 feet with 107 to Westbrook's 95, currently 5th in value over replacement player. And I love this advanced metric, Francis, because you know why? In a previous clip, I'll make this really quick. Derrick Rose, people are always like, why are you hating on Derrick Rose? He's been fine with the Knicks. His value over replacement player is lower than that of Ish Smith. He's a replaceable point guard and not worth the money that we can give him at the end of this year, even though the Knicks are streaking and looking good. Back to Giannis, just had to make that point. Currently 11th in total win shares, having played fewer games than every player in the top 10. This could be a game or two outdated. 5th in block percentage. And his current stat line, 22, 8, 6, 2, and 2. Okay, just wonderful, right? Let's move on to the 3 things as to why Francis Giannis Antetokounmpo is playing so well. For one, the volume of ground he can cover at 6'11". 6'11", right? His court vision is remarkable for a guy who moved from being a forward to a point guard, and his size does create a mismatch for every single NBA player. There is no one person that you can have guard Giannis that doesn't cause problems for other forwards on the team.
He's a 6'11" point guard.
With like a wingspan of like 9'9". That's an exaggeration, but
Even
it's like 7'2" or something.
Even if you watch nothing but cricket, and you come in and you're giving a plethora of players to look at who play a position which I'm sure you would know is the player who gets the ball first, like the guy who's supposed to direct traffic. Ben Michaels. And then you look and you're like, all right, there's Steph Curry. He's a little wiry individual in comparison to the others. He's pretty small, but he's got an amazing jump shot. And he has to guard this guy who's 6'11", who has that wingspan. Of course, this guy, his nickname summarizes everything that you really need to know about him. He is a freak of nature. The guy is on size similar to DeMarcus Cousins, DeAndre Jordan.
Anthony Davis is his size, actually.
And he moves freely. He doesn't ever look stiff. That's what's so astounding.
That's a very good point.
Like, just to contemplate, like, I struggle at times to do things if I'm just in the gym that are outside of my flexibility range, and I'm 6'1". Add 10 inches onto that, and you'd be able to move the way he does. Like,
You're like 6'2" with your hair.
Yeah, 6'2" with my hair, maybe. Like, you just really need to understand and grasp this, that this is the way, as I keep mentioning, that the NBA is going to go. I think it's gone are the days where players come into this league, and unless they have a specific asset that sets them apart, I'm not saying they won't make it, but they will be lost in translation. It's like each of these insane players that we are seeing grace this game, they all have something that just separates them in their own way as a freak. Like Steph Curry's freak of nature ability to shoot and adjust his body mid-transition is one of the best I've seen. LeBron James is a freak of nature. Kevin Durant was, as when he came into the league, a freak of nature. Unable to bench 2 45-pound plates on each side, but he can just
cross over somebody like a point guard.
No problem. And he didn't have to even add to his size. It's not like he came in. Like Brandon Ingram needs to add, I think, to get better. Kevin Durant didn't really have to do much other than just rely on his God-given talent. But Giannis Antetokounmpo is just a freak of nature with his size and the position that he's able to play. And you're going to start to see these irregular-looking players play in these positions.
I love it. I love the irregularity. So to go into some even more detail, right? His Euro step, and that's why I was talking about the ground he can cover. His unnatural, awkward size has created these mismatches and spacing of the floor that we actually don't necessarily see from one single player, even when you are LeBron James. Now, no, Giannis is not as impactful as LeBron James. But as the Reddit user, ER got poisoning. ER got poisoning.
ER got poisoning.
Poisoned ER gotness. Is pointing out is the impact that he's making is remarkable. Keep in mind that Chris Middleton is injured. Their best shooter, just straight up shooter, is injured. So the fact that when he eventually comes back, the Bucks get better. And why I say it's such a big mismatch is even so you can't have Steph Curry guard him. That means you need Klay Thompson to guard him. And it's still a mismatch for him, or you're going to have to pull guys like, for example, like a Paul George. So that means your small forward has to guard your point guard, making you play an entire. It just ruins your game plan.
Yeah,
it makes it really difficult to plan for Giannis because his ability, and that's why the court vision comes into play so much. Because if he's not going to beat you to the rim, or use his like post moves within 3 feet, he's going to make a good pass because he has the ability to find other players and get guys involved, especially on the wings.
If the Bucks continue to grow and add and don't just rely on a star freak athlete the way that we are seeing the Pelicans do, like they're suffering, they have a star freak athlete, but they're not adding to it to give him more depth.
It's painful.
So, but if the Bucks add to this and they do have some fundamental talent, they could be a team that's going to cause a problem to anyone. Exactly with what you just mentioned is they pose a question to you that is outside your comfort zone. So the same way that Steph Curry poses a question, right? So he's a point guard. And look what the Oklahoma City Thunder had to do in the playoffs last year. They put out Steven Adams to guard him in specific situations. So imagine if you have a guy that's 6'11" out there who's able to cross up, he's got great court vision. You're going to have to maybe sacrifice a big man and put him out to match up with a point guard, which leaves you a mismatch in another area. So it's a good problem for the Bucks to have because they're going to cause these issues for other teams and have them think twice about the way they're going to go. Let me pick that up. And it's a good problem for the Bucks to pose to anyone. They're going to have to pose a team to have an extra 5 minutes in the locker room and think, all right, that's our game plan, but that big guy who plays point guard 6'11", what are we going to do about that? We're going to have to sacrifice our big man?
What do you do? What do you do? The X's and O's just don't make a lot of sense.
No.
To game plan for that. So quickly, let's go to actually Giannis's quote. This is element number 4, because there's one part of his game he hasn't worked on yet. Besides the fact that he's 21 years old, this is somebody who's only getting better every single year and will not peak for another 2 or 3. So the best of Giannis we haven't seen. He can't really shoot the 3 that well, but he's got that under control because he knows what he's working on this summer, right? So the quote is element number 4 from Giannis Antetokounmpo. He said that he wanted to have enough confidence to shoot without hesitation, specifically from behind the arc. He explained how difficult it can be for a tall player to move the ball from his hip area into the proper shooting position, a stretch of geography that Antetokounmpo described as a long way because of this motion. But do you know who he's going to be training with? He's already stated this summer. That would be taking a trip over to Germany to train with Dirk Nowitzki and his longtime coach that he's had, because Dirk Nowitzki had these similar issues because he's such a tall guy. So
and his shot worked out pretty good.
And his shot, he turned out all right. Top 10 scorer of all time, a championship. Yeah, it's decent.
Did all right.
Seems like one of the most fun guys to be around. He's a total jokester. He does a terrible Donald Trump impression. Like, these are all Dirk Nowitzki things.
He's got a good penalty kick.
He's got a good penalty kick. He does. He plays with Steve Nash, too. Yeah. He does the soccer tournament.
Yeah.
I wonder if Giannis is a good soccer player.
I think he did. I mean, I think he did come from he's from Greece. It's engraved in the culture there. So I'm pretty sure he probably had some footwork to take over from the world of football.
They probably had too many unintentional handballs.
I just
threw my arm up. I didn't think it was going to hit it. It was 13 yards away.
Just imagine him on a field outside of basketball. Like, he's 6'11". Like, I just don't know what you would be able to do.
It's the wingspan that's terrifying. Regardless, Giannis is just growing and becoming better and better, and his timing makes the most sense out of anybody, because as he's going to start to peak, that's when you would hope, you would think, that like the Cavs and the Warriors won't be in the same position in 3 or 4 years. So it could come at a time where Giannis just takes over the league, and here's a bold statement, as potentially the best player in the NBA if his development continues at the rate it's going. He could. He very well has the potential, a word I hate because it doesn't mean much, but still the potential to do it.
He's going to be in great company, and it's going to be an exciting time for NBA fans. There's a group of 5 players that, regardless if I decide for a ridiculous career change and become a monk, I'll still be watching basketball solely based on the Greek Freak, Karl Anthony Towns,
Zingis.
All the
Anthony
Davis, Anthony Davis will still be there or thereabouts.
Joel Embiid.
Yeah, Joel Embiid, and probably Ben Simmons as well, just for a new face.
Damian Lillard. Kyrie Irving.
Sorry,
now I'm just going to get it.
Yeah, now we're just mentioning the full roster. Yeah, I'm still going to be watching because in 4 or 5 years, I don't think Curry, Klay Thompson, Durant, I don't think they're going anywhere. I still think they're going to be playing. Pretty high standard.
Sick. All right.
We'll come back. See you guys in 4 years. I'm off to the
monastery.
Is that a monastery?
Monastery.
Sanctuary.
Sanctuary. Sorry if I offended
Help us
anybody.
out. Sorry if I offended monks.
Well, they don't watch, so they'll never know. Joke's on them.